Right, guys, how's things? Enda Varley here, joined by Stephen Poacher for another week. We're here, obviously, going to discuss the matches coming up this weekend. We obviously have the Tailteann Cup final concluding this weekend with Meath and Down, and then we have obviously Dublin, Monaghan, and Kerry and Derry on the Sunday. So, Stevie, how's the form, man? How's things?
Not too bad, innit? Not too bad.
How's the nerves? Stevie, obviously, as a Down man, Are you going? Are you actually going? Are you going to it?
Hey, listen, there's plenty of hype about the place anyway. Bit of colour back in the place, and I know probably, deep down, like I think probably there is an element of, and I think Connor and the boys would probably say this themselves, that the wish they were in the Sam Maguire competition. Obviously, historically, Down being the traditional footballing county that they always were, and there's no point in probably telling lies that. There's some people you speak to are really excited about it, and other people you speak to are a little bit like, our priorities probably to get out of Division 3. But look, listen, it's a final. You can't take anything away from a final, and it's Croke Park. It's a young downside. I've been doing a wee bit of research on the game today, and it's actually a very, very young Meath team as well. Outside of Donald Keown at right half back and Podrick Harn at centre half back, those two boys have actually, ironically, just doing a wee bit of a stat for you here, those two boys nearly have as many championship appearances as the rest of the Meath team, which is very interesting. They have 75 championship appearances between them. Now, James McAtee has 19, but outside of that, it's a very, very young and inexperienced Meath side, and obviously, losing the likes of Shane McAtee, Brian Menton, real sort of pivotal players from
Leaders.
the team, from the team 2021 that were in the Leinster semi-final and ran Dublin close. Now, when I say ran Dublin close, it was 5-6 points in it, but they've lost 11 of that team. There's 11 new faces in the team. I think their full forward line is on paper is very, very good. Jordan Morris, 23 years of age. Matthew Costello, 22. Matthew captained them to a Leinster minor title about 4 or 5 years ago. There's scores in those lads. Aaron Lynch hit 1-5, 1-6 against Wexford in the quarterfinal. There's scores in the forward line. Obviously, it's well documented that Colm obviously wanted to play a kicking style or a kicking brand of football, which is all well and good, and it's great for a bit of romance in that, but it just hasn't really probably materialised in the way they would have wanted it, particularly in their Division 2 form. They had an outstanding win against Cork in the National League, an outstanding win in one of their earlier games. But I just feel it's a team that's in transition. Colm came out this week and spoke about having a defensive plan and the likes that. Well, he will need a bloody good one on Saturday, because Down have got blistering pace, real serious scoring options from everywhere. And I think Down's greatest strength is their goal threat. Obviously from the very first game where we played Monaghan in the McKenna Cup, Laverty's obviously big into hunting goals. I remember even, going back to a bit of coaching he would have done years ago, even at one of the coaching camps that I would have ran in school and stuff like that, one of the coach education camps, even going back to like little 3v2 games, 2v1 games, just hunting the goal. The club team that he plays for, obviously Kilcoo, are renowned for trying to work goal chances. This is something that the team has obviously worked, even from free kicks and around the D and around the 21. They're looking for that wee quick pass for a goal to catch a team off guard, so there is a goal threat in the team. And I think that's going to be Meath's biggest challenge on Saturday, and is keeping the goals out. The pace that Down have with Liam Kerr, Danny McGill, Dan Guinness, Caleb Doherty, just looking through the team here. Ryan Johnson, like real good, strong ball carrying players who have just lightning pace. And I just fully believe that this Down team is nearly suits playing in the likes of Croke Park. The team that's lined out on Sunday in the programme, on Saturday, it's unlikely to be the team that starts, because he has preferred to make multiple changes before games. Rory Mason came in the last day, Sheila Johnson came in the last day. Connor Francis will be in the reckoning as well. He's quite favoured by the management team. So look, they're down a lot of options, but like Meath, it's a very inexperienced team at at this level. Patrick McCarthy, Owen Murdoch, great outstanding talents. Danny McGill, they all would have played with Laverty in the successful under-21 team from a couple of years ago. And so look, it's two teams that are probably on a very, very similar trajectory in their development, and their transition. I do still believe that, I think that this Tailteann, if we could win the Tailteann on Saturday, it will give the thing a boost. It will give it a lift. If you don't win on Saturday, I feel there'd be a sense of deflation within the group and probably from outside the group as well, because we didn't get promoted this year. I think that was kicking the stones not getting promoted above Fermanagh, who went on to be very disappointing then in the Tailteann Cup.
Yeah.
We were absolutely hockeyed by Armagh in the semi-final of Ulster. So there's probably a realism as well that we've worked to do, and I do think that if we don't win on Saturday, it'll have been a wee bit disappointing for the group, But look, Down or Croke Park, and I know it's an old fucking wives' tale of Down teams go to Croke Park, they don't fear anyone, but they don't click, and that's the thing, Down and Croke Park, there tends to bring out the best of them, and you can always tap into that little bit of history and then that little bit of tradition, but no, listen, look, it's a Meath team not to be underestimated either,
So, obviously, you picked out the Meath full forward line there, Stephen. On the down full back line, are you happy enough in terms of the matchups there? Obviously, you know that team more than me.
Pierce Laverty's the captain of the team this year. Pierce would have been involved in sort of AFL camps when he was younger. He's a phenomenal. He's a freak of an athlete. He plays for a club called Saul. They're a small rural club just outside Downpatrick. Pierce is the captain of the team. I think it's fantastic for him to be the captain of the team. It's a great honour for him and his club as well, particularly a club like Saul, who are a small club. I think it's a great accolade. It makes a big change from having someone from like Burn or Kilcoo or Mayo Bridge, one of the traditional bigger clubs in Down. I think that's been a brilliant move by the boys. Pierce probably was always a sort of a very Fleur type player, playing wing forward and corner forward and the legs, but they've turned him into an out and out marking corner back now, full back, and he's probably been the one player who's been ever present in the team. We've used 3 goalkeepers, we've had multiple options at corner backs, we've had numerous options at 6. Keelan Doherty has seemed to have slipped in there now at 6. Midfield partner for Owen Murdoch has been a problem all year. Dan Guinness wears the number 8 jersey, but there's nothing really to say. Numbers mean anything now in the modern game. Pat Haber's lined out at midfield in the past. But from a full backline perspective, Pierce Laverty will probably be the man who picks up Jordan Morris or Costello, one of the two. Anthony Doherty from Downpatrick has played in the full backline as well. His strong physical presence, really aggressive. But there's a clinker in there in the team, and who I rate very, very highly. Silent assassin, as I would call him, that Patrick McCarthy. Patrick, just real quiet lad, goes about his job in a very, very industrious way, does the simple things well. He's good in the front foot as well. He's from the Burn club. He came through the under-20. Would have played under-20s this year as well, and was one of the main instigators in Down winning an under-20 title this year. He would have locked away a lot of the key forwards in under-20 11, including Canavan, from that really good Tyrone team, So the Down full back line will fancy their chances against this Meath full forward line. There's no question about it.
What about obviously look at the play there around in the Tailteann Cup in Parnell Park, where they finished up 1-9 to 1-11 that time, Stevie. They obviously look at that's weeks ago now. With that, looking at that game in terms of styles, what did you kind of see? Are they going to Down is obviously they kind of played well. I'm not going to say the Kilcoo style. Everyone plays kind of that style now. We'll say getting people back and get turnovers and transition and pace up the field like Meath. Be interesting how Meath set up here now. Obviously, we're on about the down full back line there, but they will have help in terms of the +1 getting a couple of people back.
100%. And look, Down, be under no illusions. Down play, an enormous amount of bodies behind the ball. They play a counter-attacking game. It's the style that obviously Connor has favoured with his team, and it's a team that's tailor-made for counter-attacking football because they have so much pace, because they have so much flair. One positive about them is that when they do break, they break with a lot of pace, a lot of numbers. There's a lot of direct play as well. I do feel that if Meath are smart and it's not a sort of an idiotic setup from Column. Like if they do, obviously scramble hard and get back behind the ball and become very compact when they lose the ball. Down's biggest issue all year has probably been to create scores from a structured attack. Like you talked about Mayo, whenever Down are slowed and whenever the opposition get back and they're organised, Down sort of tend to struggle. It's a big work on for next year, obviously, trying to incorporate that sort of structured attack that maybe the likes of Derry have. I think it's something that we're a little bit one directional when it comes to our offensive play, in that it's everything or nothing, if you get me. It's 110 mile an hour. It's direct stuff, it's little hand passes, trying to weave through, trying to create goal chances. And if that's not on, then we do tend to struggle and run into a few roadblocks. But they're both sides have been so inconsistent in it. Like Meath went out for the final and dismantled Wexford, played them off the park. Down went out in, I think, not the quarter final, the great win against Cavan in the quarter final, the round before against Longford at home. They should have been beat out the gate. Yeah. They were 5 points down, and Longford had 2 1-on-1s, to go 8 points up, and that was game over stuff. Like, and we came through that then, and obviously then come through a really, really impressive win away to Cavan. So the inconsistencies of both teams have been.
Would you be worried? Would you be worried, Stevie, with the the 8 goals, the semi-final? Is that kind of a false sense of?
Look. This is one for you. Like for me, you see a team at their best. Whenever you see a team at their best, or you see a team really, really fun at the highest level, in the semi-final, it's very, very easy to analyze them. So either are switched on and have their coaches analysing that game. It's a good game to look at to say, like, right, what did Laois do wrong? How can we sort of obviously put those wrongs right? Like, and on the same side of the coin, Down will look at the flaws in the Meath setup against Antrim. Like I was at both games, like, and you can see the 2-14, to Antrim and. They scored 216. I appreciate and respect that. Like, but at the same time, they were wide open at times, and they really, really were wide open times. Padraig Hornan is in at centre half back. Padraig been around the block a long time as well. In their half back line, those boys aren't stupid either, and I'm sure those players are sort of saying to, there'll be players. There's bound to be player feedback in there to send a column. Look, we might have to just batten down the hatches early in this game and keep in this game and keep tight. But it'll be interesting to see if Patrick picks up one of the Kilcoo boys, because he's a farmer by trade. Like, so there could be good yarn and chat about farming and stuff if he picks up one of the Kilcoo boys there in that game. Patrick's a hard working farmer at that,
Well, the big one for me, Stevie, would be like, obviously I watched some of the Down and the Laois game, and Laois, like, geez, they didn't get a hand on them, man. There's no, like, literally Down just walks up I think I counted one of the goals, there was three plays with the ball and no Laois player got hands on at all. Like, so it's, as you said there, Meath are wide open as well. So this could be a high scoring game here. If like for Meath, if I was coming to work, I'd be saying just no turnovers, because as you said there, Down get heat or momentum off the turnovers, and as you said there, the break at pace, quick transition ball, they will score. But if you get them in back, funnel them in back.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Listen, and there's no doubt about it. Like, Meath are going to have to take the sting out of the game. We're going to chat about Dublin very soon and how they've changed this year. Like, one of the big things they've changed is become very much more processed football now again this year in comparison to where they were last year with turnovers. And that's a key thing for Meath. If Meath are smart and they play the game, and keep the ball, I think they've got a chance. But look, at the same time, there's probably a lot of Down folk that are completely dismissing Meath, and when I looked at it today, like, Meath, there would be, there'd be a sort of an element of, look, I could win this game handy, and I don't think it's just going to be as handy as that. It's Croke Park, it's a final. I know that you have the experience of the Kilcoo lads there and the team who have played in Croke Park and played in finals, and that experience will help them. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of young lads in there too, that this is probably their biggest and most significant game in a long while, But look, Down have a couple of really, really outstanding individuals, and I'm not going to lie to you when I say this, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I think Owen Murdoch is got the potential to be a really, really superstar footballer for this county. He's a young lad playing middle of the field, number 9. He's played a lot of football the last number of years. To be fair to the lad, he's played a lot of football, but he is just an absolute man mountain of a child, and he's got great potential at such a young age. He's so dominant. He's a goal threat. He drifts inside. He can play at 14. He can drive through the middle. He can play a little pop pass, and his acceleration to get off the shoulder, his pace and his power has improved dramatically over the last number of years. But Oren is definitely a lad who's going to have a big future ahead of him in the red and black, and for his club, of course, as well. But Oren for me is the man to watch this weekend. He is a real Rolls Royce, and if he gets going, Down could be hard to stop on Saturday.
Who be from the years that's in the city? Who was kind of Down's main? Like obviously Liam Kerr scored a hat-trick the last day. Is he the kind of who's the number one forward where you're thinking, right, we need to get scores with this guy?
They're all slightly different, because you've Donegal McAleenan, who is small and elusive and is a playmaker and drops off from 11 and picks up a lot of loose ball. You have Danny McGill, who's a hard direct runner. Kerr is very similar in that aspect, hard direct runner, lovely left foot. Eugene Brannigan's the busy bee who floats about and plays at 15 and does a lot of sort of work behind the ball, etc. Not a massive scoring threat at that level. Pat Haburn is probably their most potent scoring threat. He's a ball winner. He can hit free kicks as well. And then Ryan Johnson's always good for a goal. Ryan Johnson's probably had a couple of decent seasons now. And Ryan's been around a long time. People of this, that's the other thing too to remember, and the people of this misperception that all the Kilcoo players are committing. The Kilcoo players were always there. They were always there. Bobo Kane was always with Down. Ryan Johnson was always with Down. Keelan Doherty was always with Down. Jerome Johnson was always with Down. Sheila Johnson was there when Paddy Talley was there in 2019. So it's not a big whole new thing, it's not a big hooray that they're all in, and obviously Ryan McAvoy's been there for a good few years now, even though he's only a young fella. So a lot of the Kilcoo boys have been around the Down panel now for a good 3 or 4 years. Sometimes the narrative in the media, can create this sort of thing that they're all back this year for the first time. They're not really. Like, there's a couple of new faces, but there's no one there that really hasn't been there before, So, but no, look, it will be an interesting game. I think if Down get a good start and Meath have to chase the game, I think Meath are going to be in big trouble. I really do think that. But at the same time, the likes of James McEntee, Aaron Lynch, Jordan Morris, Matthew Costello, the players that can hurt Down too. The players that can hurt Down too. But it's two teams that I would say are probably on a very, very similar trajectory from their development point of view. New managers, new styles. But I just think Down have just a little bit more about them, and I think that Connor is a shrewd coach. He's a shrewd manager, and there's no question that he'll get the matchup spot on, and he certainly won't be getting into this game naive in any capacity at all.
So what are you saying? Down by what?
I think Down will win the game, and I think goals will be the key, and I think it's going to be a goal or two in the game.
I agree with you, to be honest. I think Down should edge it. No, won't be by much, but I think it'll be an exciting game anyway. Hopefully. I think so too.